In this video, we'll be taking a look at one college football game happening on September 4th, 2023, and providing you with a free team pick and total pick for this game, so 2 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on this one college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Clemson versus Duke. The first full week of the college football season comes to a close with an Atlantic Coast Conference matchup on the gridiron down on Tobacco Road. In a Labor Day primetime clash, the number 9 Clemson Tigers are on the road as they travel to face the Duke Blue Devils Monday night. Clemson finished the 2022 season 11-3 overall and won the Atlantic Coast Conference title, though their season ended with a 31-14 loss to Tennessee in the Orange Bowl. Duke posted their first winning season since 2018 last year as they went 9-4 in Mike Elko's first year running the program. Their season ended with a 30-13 win over UCF in the Military Bowl. In the all-time series between the programs, Clemson owns a 37-16-1 advantage and has won the last 5 meetings. That includes a 35-6 home triumph in the most recent matchup on November 17, 2018. The Clemson football program has built themselves into a national powerhouse with head coach Dabo Swinney. They have become so successful that an 11-3 season and a trip to the Orange Bowl feels like a disappointment to some. Clemson has now missed the college football playoff 2 seasons in a row after being invited from 2015 to 2020. Clemson fans hope the hiring of Garrett Riley from TCU as the new offensive coordinator will be the boost they need to make it back to the playoff. Cade Klubnik takes over full-time at quarterback after taking the job late last season. Klubnik was excellent in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship, going 20 for 24 for 279 yards. He is quick enough to scramble out of the pocket and has shown strong passing skills. The running backs will be the focus of the offense. Will Shipley is back after a first-team All-Atlantic Coast Conference season, rushing for 1,182 yards and 15 touchdowns. Shipley is excellent at catching passes out of the backfield and is a true all-purpose back. Phil Maffa would be a starter at almost any program, but will provide a strong 1-2 punch in the running game. The top returning receiver is Antonio Williams, who had 56 catches for 604 yards last season. Clemson is loaded everywhere, but their best 2 players may both be linebackers. Jeremiah Trotter and Barrett Carter will wreak havoc on opposing offenses with their speed. They combined for 12 sacks and 162 tackles last season. Tyler Davis is a 6'2", 300-pound defensive tackle who can move. He will be a force on the line. Nate Wiggins is an elite corner. He has 12 pass deflections last season and a pick 6 in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game. Head coach Mike Elko was a star defensive coordinator at big schools including Wake Forest, Notre Dame, and most recently the Texas Aggies. He was hired by Duke last year. The team had only won 10 total games over the 3 previous seasons, but Elko led them to a 9-4 record and a win in a bowl game. Elko's coaching presence made a difference, but he also benefited from the strong play of his quarterback, Riley Leonard. Leonard is a 6'4" junior who passed for 2,967 yards last season with 20 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. Leonard also led the team in rushing with 699 yards on the ground. Running back Jordan Waters should get more of a workload this season after rushing for 566 yards and 8 touchdowns. The line returns 3 starters, including All-Atlantic Coast Conference selection Graham Barden at tackle. Jalon Calhoun is returning at receiver after leading the team with 873 receiving yards. Duke's strongest defensive unit will be their secondary. They have an excellent pair of safeties in Brandon Johnson and Jalen Stinson. Stinson is the leading returning tackler with 74 last season to go with 2 interceptions. Dwayne Carter is back on the line, the 300-pound defensive tackle at 5.5 sacks in 2022, and will lead the attack up front. Clemson is 10-2 against the spread in their last 12 conference games and 1-10 against the spread in their last, the 11th of September games, while the under is 22-8 in their last the 30th of September games. Duke is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 home games and 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games in September, while the under is 6-2 in their last 8 Week 1 matchups. Both of these teams expect to finish near the top of the Atlantic Coast Conference standings, and this game rightly gets primetime billing on Monday night. The Tigers are favored by almost 2 touchdowns. Clemson should be able to run the ball at will this season. With a veteran offensive line and 2 of the best running backs in the league, we know what Clemson can do effectively. The question mark for the Tigers comes in the passing game. Quarterback Cade Klubnik looked overwhelmed last season, and he does not have a bevy of proven receivers either. What he does have, however, is new offensive coordinator Garrett Riley. Riley was swiped away from TCU after leading the Frogs to the national title game. We will find out quickly if Riley is all he is cracked up to be. And the defense, they are still really good, as you would expect from a Clemson team. The fall of Clemson and the rise of Duke have both been greatly exaggerated. Clemson was 1 point away from the college football playoff. If they had beaten South Carolina, the one-loss Atlantic Coast Conference champion would have been invited. Klubnik had an entire offseason to prepare to be the starter, and Shipley gives him a safety valve who can make huge plays out of nothing. Duke relies too heavily on their quarterback. Leonard did everything for them last season. This is not an option against a Clemson defense. Leonard will not be able to scramble at ease against the elite speed Clemson has in their front 7. The Tigers are on a quest to return back to the college football playoff, and they will put on a show on Monday. I don't love this game from this line's perspective, and I could change course closer to kickoff, but Duke wasn't tested a whole lot in 2022 against high-powered opposition. I mean, sure, they beat Wake Forest and got the bowl win over UCF, but it's just really hard to feel great in a Week 1 matchup against Clemson, even at home, a Tigers team that just seems to keep rolling with the times and reloading year after year. Klubnik showed solid flashes in his limited action last year, and I think this is just about Clemson making the stops that Duke doesn't over the course of the game. So the Clemson Tigers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. For the Blue Devils, a veteran offense with a very efficient dual-threat quarterback should allow them to move the field against a talented Clemson defense. If Duke is able to find the end zone a few times, it will keep the pressure on Clemson to keep pushing on offense as well. Clemson, as noted in the spread column, should be a dominant running team this season. They will need to show drastic improvement in the passing game, though, if they are going to cover this game or threaten the point total. More than anything else, that is the question we have to settle when it comes to picking this total. Offensive coordinator Garrett Riley was immediately effective at TCU, and he probably did that with less talented players. Clemson does not have a Quentin Johnson like TCU had, but there should be enough highly recruited talent on this roster to stretch the field. In Clemson's first 2 road games last season, they scored 41 at Georgia Tech and 51 at Wake Forest. They even scored 34 at Florida State, which was a much better defense than Duke has this season. All of those games were with a quarterback who never really thrived in the Tigers system. Klubnik will be a much better fit for this Clemson attack, and will be able to spread the ball around the field for multiple scores. Duke showed the ability to score last season. They ranked 31st in offense with 33 points per game. They won't reach their average here, but they will score enough. I believe that these teams might be trading scores for much of the game. I expect a final score somewhere around 40-24. I fully expect this to be a strong offensive game from both teams. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.